What I've also done today, which is why you can see like stacks of books on my bed behind me, is I filmed 3 videos, 2 for my main channel, 1 for Patreon exclusive, a haul and a wrap up and a Patreon exclusive wrap up. I have taken 2 Instagram photos. Well, actually I've taken 1 so far, and I'm about to take the flat lay that will then become my next photo, which is for the books in my bag, which I do usually in October. I think I've done this kind of layout of the photo thing before for them, which you'll see on my Instagram. It'll be posted by now, and we'll do that together in a second. And then I've also filmed 2 TikTok videos because I'm trying to be better about posting on TikTok and growing that account, but I also don't really care that much. I just have a fun time over there, and I feel like TikTok sound trends are dying out, and that is all I make over there, so it's harder for me to make content because it's harder for me to find sounds I want to just reuse, and I don't want to make my own. So this is a bit of a messy angle, but I just wanted to hop on here quickly because I finished reading The Mermaid of the Black Conch by Monique Roffey, and I asked my Patreons over on our close friends Instagram story, and we decided that this is going to count for my aged monster prompt because it's a mermaid from many years ago who used to be a human who got turned into a mermaid and then is in this like current society as a human. So counts for aged monster, which is Kicking a Wattle Dog off of my Gothtober TBR. But you know what? I read 4 books of my TBR. That is the most I've stuck to a TBR for a very long time. So you should all be very proud of me for sticking to my TBR for this long, even though now I am deviating a little bit. Still reading Model Home though. And in the end, I thought this book was okay, as I expected to. I feel like it's very hard for me to take a takeaway message from this book. The takeaway message seems to be that women can be mean to each other and there's women on women hate in the world, and that's just terrible, even though this book mostly centers around men treating women badly. So I'm not sure I love the takeaway messages of this book, but I just couldn't get over how beautiful the writing was, even if I wasn't a big fan of the story, and that leaves me very confused. I don't think I felt this much about this way about a book before, where I really love the writing, I really like the setting and the atmosphere, and I'm just not a big fan of the story or the characterization or the message. So yeah, I've settled on feeling middle of the road about this, but that's how I felt about this book. And now I just need to tidy up because after filming my room is a complete mess and I need to tidy up. I haven't actually finished unpacking from Croatia. Most of the stuff is out, but I'm gonna unpack properly. And then we're going to see what I'm going to do next, because I feel like I need to do some food shopping. I feel like I want to make a cup of tea and post on Instagram, but I need to be ready for this live show at 7:30? So I don't know how much time I really have to do all those things because it's almost 4 o'clock. Has been a few days since I've updated this vlog, but it's because I went back to work, and since being back at work after my holiday, after traveling around on the author tour, I've just been so incredibly tired that I haven't really done much. I've basically been working out, doing yoga, going to work, coming home and doing the bare minimum to survive, such as like make dinner, do laundry, like all the chores stuff, all the not very fun things to vlog. So we're just gonna have a bit of a catch up here. I have read and finished some more books. I absolutely whizzed through Trumpet by Jackie Kay, which I don't think I've talked to you about, but it's about this wife and her husband who is a trumpet player, and he dies. So that's what we know. He's a famous trumpet player and he dies at the beginning of the novel. She is grieving for him when it comes out that he's actually trans, and she's the only one that knew he was trans and nobody else knew it, not even her son, their son. So it's about them dealing with the fame and the outfall of all of this coming to light, and also just how she feels as someone who's grieving, how her son feels as someone who is also grieving, but also kind of learning about his father while grieving. It was really, really good. I've read Jackie Kay before and I wasn't a big fan of the memoir that I read, which was Red Dust Road, but I've also read a play by Jackie Kay called The Lamplighters, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And so getting to read The Trumpet and seeing that I still really liked it, and maybe it's just Jackie Kay's non-fiction that is not for me, was really comforting, and I really enjoyed The Trumpet. I think it had some very important things to say, but it was also, you know, it was marked by the period of time in which it was written, and also it's about like a black trans man, so that plays into it as well. But I just think it showed kind of people's reactions and thoughts and feelings around the situation very, very well, and how ultimately it was about a woman who was just grieving and just wanting to be able to live in that grief and experience it privately, but not being able to. And I love a good story about grief. Which brings me up to where we are now in my reading journey. So I'm going to give you that update. So I've been talking to you about Model Home over time and I'm towards the end of it now. I've only got 50 pages left, so I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. I am enjoying it more. Like, I've laid to rest my want to be in the model home. I've laid to rest the expectation that it's called model home and it's not about going to the model home. It's about the metaphorical meaning of this model home. It's about the metaphorical and the generational trauma that they are experiencing, the mental health that they have to deal with after they have lived in this haunted house, and whether the house is haunted or whether it's something to do with the neighborhood and the way that the neighbors treat them and the racism they experience as the only black family there, or if they are haunted by things that have happened to them in their childhood that they are not facing. A lot of metaphor is applied to this, which I think is actually done just, it's really clever. River Solomon doesn't write silly books. They know what they're doing. They write smart, intelligent books with smart, intelligent concepts and meanings behind it. And so while my reading process of this has been a bit of a journey of like reshifting and reevaluating my expectations, I think ultimately this is a really good and very cleverly done book. And if you're looking for something that's a bit more like psychological horror and also satirical horror, you are going to enjoy this book a lot. I think satirical horror is where I would pen it. Also talk to you about this gorgeous edition of A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, which I've been buddy reading with Abby for like 1 or 2 months now, so it's actually been a long time. It's not just Gothtober season, but we are 3 chapters away from the end. So I've decided I'm going to count it for my Gothtober disability prompt. It's a bit of a stretch because it's not about disability, but of the classics that I have read, this one looked at or had a scene that dealt with mental health in a classic in a way that I just haven't seen picked apart and done with such sensitivity and in that much depth toward the main plot as well. And so I don't feel bad counting this for my disability prompt, because model home also technically could double up as my disability prompt, as we've got our main character who has chronic pain in this one. So I'm just gonna do what I do and count it as the prompt. We're getting towards the 20th of the month and I do want to tick off my prompts, and I'm loving this. I think A Tale of Two Cities, I didn't realise how much the title was literal. Like, it's a tale of Paris and London and about the French Revolution during that time. That's the larger discussion of this book, but it's also about a prisoner and why they are imprisoned and what it means to be noble versus a peasant and poor. And Charles Dickens always does this really good commentary on classism and poverty, and he's done it again here. And unlike some of the other Dickens I've read, I don't think this is overly wordy. I don't think this is too far-fetched, even though you have to be patient as the plot lines come together. I think they do come together, and I think the characterization is done well, and I just care about everyone in this book, and I had a really good time reading it. I think it's up there with A Christmas Carol as one of my favourite Dickens that I've read so far in my journey of reading my way through the Dickens books. Right, what we're going to do next is have some tea. It's that time. I'm ready for tea. This is my work day, ready for my tea break. And so we're going to choose one. Okay, which number are we at? That is a good question. 8, 9, 10. Let's open number 10. Let's do it. Oh, I see purple. Is it going to be something berry related? Oh no, Tea Pig's calm, relaxing tea with valerian. Oh, organic, naturally caffeine-free tea. Lemon and lime flavorings. Interesting. Deep breathing, mindfulness, yoga, forest bathing, all great options to calm us down. But if time's not on your side, this tea is a great shortcut to that feeling of complete calm. Before you throw your phone out of the window, drink this relaxing blend of lemon balm, valerian and chamomile, drunk for centuries for its calming, stress-reducing properties. So it sounds like chamomile tea with lemon and lime flavorings to me. I love a good chamomile tea. I do drink it to calm down. I did yoga this morning, but I'm also working, so I don't know if those things are compatible for Zen, but I'm going to take this tea and feel more calm. And yes, let's try the tea. Smells like chamomile. Okay, so when I smelled it I was like, this is just going to taste like a chamomile. Proud to report it does not taste just like a chamomile. Alright, that is very much a chamomile tea, but you can taste a bit of a zing of the lemon and lime, but it's in a level, or it's at a level where it's still relaxing and chill. It's just giving an additional flavour to chamomile tea, which is really nice because chamomile is very calming. It's lovely as it is, but sometimes it's nice to just jazz it up a little bit, like they've done with that lemon and lime flavouring. That's delicious. I really like that as a chamomile tea. So I'm gonna continue drinking my tea and continue working, and that's that. Hi, good morning. So actually good afternoon. I'm here to give you a bit of a quick reading update just because I wanted to let you know that I finished reading A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, which I was buddy reading with Abby from Abbey of Pelennor, and we wrapped this up yesterday. I really loved it. I'm basically figuring out how I'm going to rate it, but I think this could potentially be a new favourite, so keep an eye out for my wrap up where I wrap this one up properly, because it could be a new favourite book. I really loved this. I think it's definitely one of my favourite Dickens. It's ticked off my disability prompt for Gothtober, and I talked about mental disability, like mental health disability, when I was talking about this previously, but towards the end there it also goes into another type of disability as well. I think the ending is sometimes, like with classics, like I am a sad reader and I do love an ending that feels particularly sad, so I'm not gonna really tell you much more than that because I think there are multiple ways that this could have ended to make it sad, and that's open enough to not consider this spoilers, but not everything ends in a happy way in this book, and I think that makes sense because it's set during the French Revolution, so of course French Revolution is not a happy time for everyone, and so I really liked how this ended. I think it was done really well. I liked the character work. I really just liked the story and how it tied up together. It's one of those ones where it takes time to get there, but actually for a classic I feel like the pacing in this was really, really well done, because all the way through reading this book I never felt bored, I never felt like it was dragging. I was just reading my way through it and having a very, very good time. One of the best Dickens. So the rest of the day I'm going to be hanging out with my sibling. We're going to have a fun time. We might go to the park. It has been raining a lot, so maybe not the park, but I definitely think we'll at least be taking a walk. I watched RRR in Croatia with Yana and I really, really loved it, and so I've now started introducing it to Simi, and we've continued watching Heartstopper, and I'm hoping to finish Model Home this weekend before I wrap this third vlog up. I just edited my first vlog and I've decided the Croatia vlog is going to be its own thing, so this one kind of didn't have an intro, but that is fine. Me and Simi went to a chocolatier that we discovered that we hadn't really come across before, and they had the most delicious cheesecake I've ever tasted in my life. It was fantastic. And also I had a white hot chocolate, which is just so rare to find, so I was incredibly happy. I was so happy. Simi had a delectable lava cake and then also had hot chocolate milk, but literally you could get anything in milk, white or dark flavor, as well as ruby and gold chocolate flavor. So the fact that I looked at the menu and I was like, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, because these things are like rich in chocolate. And then I noticed that it said it doesn't have to be dark or milk, you can also have all these things in white chocolate, and my mind was literally blown. The cheesecake was like fresh homemade cheesecake, and oh, you could taste that it was fresh homemade cheesecake. That's how good it was. Anyway, we're not here to talk about food. We are here to talk about the fact that I finished reading Model Home by Rivers Solomon, and I've decided to give this 5 stars. It has become a new favorite. I think I've spent a lot of time on here complaining about the fact that you don't get to go to the model home and that it's more like metaphorical and lyrical, and now that I've read the whole book and I see this for what it is, I would really describe this as if you asked Toni Morrison to write horror. It's very literary horror leaning, so I hope that helps you position it. It's still horror fiction within the genre, but I think it does kind of like what Afrofuturism does when it breaks those genre bounds. It is very reminiscent of Toni Morrison. I'm thinking of a particular one, but I don't want to say it because I want you to be able to read it and discover it for yourself. In the themes that it tackles, which are really, really serious themes, and racism is prevalent within it as a key theme as well, and also just with the writing style and how that metaphor is woven in. Ooh, it just comes together so well at the end. And you know, horror, I really like my horror when it's quite like either metaphorical or psychological. I think I've mentioned that before, one of those two, and this is definitely leaning on the metaphorical side. And I love it when my horror makes me feel very, very disturbed, unsettled and queasy at the end. I don't find many horror things scary, and I wouldn't say that this is a scary horror, but one that's going to make you just feel unsettled and queasy in terms of the reality of the situation when you think about it. And for that, I'm going to compare it to books that gave me this similar feeling, which were Earthlings and Tender as the Flesh. And while I don't think that this is as extreme as those are in terms of actual content, in terms of the feeling that it left me with, it definitely gave me those vibes. I will say that there are certain content warnings for this that you need to be aware of going in, so I'll leave those down below in the description box for you, and also in the wrap up where I inevitably mention this book, I'll leave it in the description box. But if you are good to the description box and you don't want to be spoiled for everything, but you want this particular warning, I will make sure it is the very first content warning of the list of content warnings for this book. Right, so that was fantastic. I literally finished it, and I closed the book like this, and I just sat there and I just like meditated on my thoughts, because that's how good the book was. So that is a fantastic way to end this reading vlog. This fulfilled my prompt of horror book with a black main character, and now I've only got 2 more Gothtober prompts to finish. Please let me know in the comment section down below, what was the last book you gave 5 stars to that you absolutely loved. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!